Lewis. God, we're live. Told you to hold it. I'm waiting for the bits to come in, Lewis, and then you're getting the boom. I don't even know if you're ready for the boom. You think you are?
I'm ready for the tweet.
I got that too. Boom. And we're live. Ooh, I put some gusto on that one. I think I injured my larynx. And now I know what you want. You singular mind. You want the tweet. You want to get your hands on that tweet action. All right, here you go, Lewis. Let me proofread it real fast. We're hanging out live, talking in what's new in the iOS 16.4 betas, the new HomePod versus original HomePod. And, and glad I read that again, Microsoft is bringing iMessages to Windows. That's going to bring them in. Everyone's excited about that. Actually, you know what? I would say out of all these stories that we have, that might have been one of my favorites of the week, Lewis.
Yeah?
You know what? People don't think that kind of stuff is important, but I have to work on a Windows machine a lot, and I hate typing messages on my phone. And so being able to answer a message on Windows, that's actually quite appealing to me. There it is, Lewis. We're live.
Okay.
We're waiting for the folks.
Still waiting.
We're waiting for the folks to pile on in.
Trying to be patient. There we go.
We got Mark T here. We got Christopher Gavin here. Mark T saying Windows sucks. Well, you know what? I kind of like it. I kind of like it. I mean, you know what I love about Windows is it just you can just tweak everything, you know? Unlike Apple, they don't force you into their own design decisions all the time. Like, they just let you change everything that you want to change. And sometimes that's nice, you know? It's like, perfect example. Why wouldn't Apple let you tell or set a time when you want your phone to be fully charged, right? They do it for you. They make it, it's way too over-engineered. It's like, we're going to figure out what time you get up every day, and so we'll have your phone fully charged by that time. But of course, the problem is if you don't get up at the exact same time every single day, then your phone gets super confused, and then it just doesn't, the optimized charging feature doesn't work anymore, where if you could just set it on a schedule, that would be perfect, and your battery charging would actually be optimized. They should call that feature the kind of optimized battery charging system. We got Jeff Drew in here. We got Min's farm wife is here. She says, I'm assuming we got a she here. I finally caught a live. Oh boy. Oh baby. Christopher Gavin's here. Oh, you got double shouts. That's my bad. Lane Gandy's here. I thought it would go based on alarms. I don't think it does. I think it goes based on the time that it generally starts getting used after it's been charging, which is not a great way to do it, in my opinion. Let's see here. You know what, Lewis? I think we should just go ahead and get rolling. We got a lot of news to talk about this week.
Just pretend we know what we're talking about.
Well, that's what we do every week. You mean just do the show? Is that what you're saying?
Spoiler alert.
Let me see. Do I have my notes here? Okay, good. Yeah, I got it all up. I think we're ready to roll. Okay. Emin is from Minnesota. And yes, I am a woman. Okay, see, I guessed right.
Wow.
I guessed right, see?
Pretty bold.
Powerful analytical mind. Well, we're happy to have you here. Let's go ahead and get another lovely lady queued up here. Some would say the loveliest. Oh, Mrs. D.
What is that?
Mrs. D. Yeah, what? What'd you say, Liz?
The little thumbnail says iPhone 15's new color.
Oh, yeah, we got
Last week's
to change
thumbnail.
that. Way to bring that up right as I'm introducing Mrs. D.
She's trying to, make things great.
Mrs. D, how do you like Minnesota? Oh, I love the cold weather. Oh, really? Oh, yes. Because I can light a roaring fire and make love to El Caney. Oh, okay. Jeez. I get tricked every week. It always goes there. Isn't that surprising?
You're such a sucker.
I always forget where this conversation is going to head. Mrs. D, if you don't mind, I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to hear about your escapades with El Caney. I'm glad to hear that he's doing well, and you're keeping him busy. But if you don't mind, I'd like to get the show rolling. Let me go ahead and cue up the music, Mrs. D, and get your larynx warmed up, and we'll get this thing rolling in 3, 2. Hello, and welcome to CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Aaron Elijah. Joining me today, he He's like one of those mentally unstable chihuahuas. A real nice guy if your Cultimax story is on time. But if not, he gets on all fours and he goes straight for your ankles. He's the managing editor of Cultimax. Who's Wallace here? Is that the sound you make?
You don't ever want to hear that sound.
The Cultimax writers have to hear that all too much, I think. And they just immediately jump on the closest table.
The scariest thing about a Chihuahua is that when they're sitting there getting ready to go off, right? They start twitching.
Yeah, their lip starts moving up and down like they're about to go berserk. And it's like you're gonna survive. But you're gonna need some bandages for several weeks. And maybe a tetanus shot.
Rabies, maybe.
my dog is I have a toy terrier, half Chihuahua, half toy terrier mix. I guess it's a really common mix. We got her from the pound. And she's a sweet girl, but she's got that Chihuahua side. And sometimes she just loses it. Like, I can't tell you how many times she's bit all of us.
Oh,
and the other day, it's never super hard, but the other day I picked her up because she got outside, and I had to, go running after her because she went full Chihuahua mode. And she started running through the streets, chasing after every car she could bark at. And so I scooped her up. She got mad at me. She turned around, and she bit my schnoz.
Wow.
I let her. I punched her right in the side.
I was going to say, a dog would do that one time.
Yeah. She learned a lesson. Then she was immediately like, that was a bad idea. That was a bad idea. Oh, man. All right. Well, we got a lot of stuff to talk about here today. We're going to talk about what's new in the iOS 16.4 betas. There was the first and the second one. We're on the second one. I don't think we covered the first one, so I thought we could just cruise through some of the notable features and celebrate one of the biggest Apple stories on the Apple subreddit, which came right out of one of these betas. You'll be surprised to hear. Very excited. Very exciting feature. Let's see here. Lewis is going to tell us about how to keep your iPhone safe from this new way that criminals are basically unlocking all of your passwords. I hadn't even heard about this, but this is something that if you like to party like LK does, and you're at the bar a lot, and people are all around you looking at your phone while you're using it, and you're drinking a little bit, and someone could just swipe your phone. This is like the new tactic to get your passwords and liquidate your bank accounts. We got some new insights to share on Apple's very super secret Exploratory Design Group. This was a big Bloomberg story this week about a new group. Well, not a new group, a group within Apple that a lot of people didn't know about, and they're working on a lot of secret projects that are potentially going to see the light of day. Some of them very soon. So we'll do that. If we have time, which I think we will. Oh yeah, good. We got to talk a little bit about the new HomePods. I don't know if you guys follow me on YouTube, youtube.com/AirfunElijah. I'll leave a link in the show notes if you want to check it out.
If we have time.
We'll definitely do this.
Come on.
I'm realizing in real time here how much stuff we had to talk about this week. I don't know how this show got so big.
Try to hold your mud.
We got a lot of stuff in here. And I did some sound tests, stereo pair sound tests between the new HomePods and the old HomePods. And just to kind of give you a little bit of a clickbait here, what I found was surprising. Surprising, if you didn't see the video. And I was actually surprised at the conclusion I landed upon. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then this was exciting to me. I don't think anyone else actually really cares that much about this, but it looks like iMessages are coming to Windows, which, you know what, is an important feature. I like to see some of these Apple features come to Windows because some of us have to be in the Windows world, Lewis. Sometimes you got to be in the Windows world. And so anything that we can do to integrate some of this stuff, like the Apple password extension, iCloud password extension they added to Chrome, is one of my favorite features that has come out in a long time. Man, like I use that thing all the time. Although right now it's kind of broken. It's actually not working that well, which is a major bummer because now I have to like text myself passwords so I can use them on my Windows machine. Let's hear. Before we dive in, let me give a very hearty thank you to Squarespace for supporting this episode. Squarespace.com/CultCast. You've been a slacker. It's okay to admit it. You're a slacker. You don't have an editor like Lewis Walls to get on all fours like a power mad chihuahua and attack your ankles to motivate you. And so you've been getting nothing done. but you want to get something done. You want to grow your business online. You want to start a blog. You want to showcase your photography. You want to sell digital products online. Maybe you have a skill set that you think people would pay you for to learn from you, or that you could do for them as a service. You can do all that stuff on Squarespace. You can market your business. You can have an e-commerce site. You can have a members only area. You can have people book time on your calendar so that you can meet them and teach them that skill that you have. And you can have a website up in mere moments. You can have one up in minutes if you want, or you can customize it to your heart's content. Everything is drag and drop, intuitive and easy to use. And you can really dive in and make your website look uniquely yours. Your website will look great on any device that visits, because Squarespace automatically reformats the site and all the imagery and everything, so that no matter what device visits, you're going to have a great looking website. It's what I use for CultCloth. I've been using it for years. I love it. It's just set it and forget it. Don't sue me, Ron Popeil. I think that term is trademarked. But I really like using it, and I pay for it. They don't give it to me for free. I actually pay for Squarespace every single month, just like everybody else, and it's totally worth it for me. So if you're ready to have your online presence rake in the cash for you like mine does, head on over to squarespace.com/cultcast. Get started with a website. And after you get your website set up, if you like what you have, you can use code CultCast at checkout to save 10% off your first purchase. And if you do a year of web service at a time, you can save, and you'll get an additional discount on top of the discount you get with code CultCast at checkout at squarespace.com/cultcast. Did I say web service? Web hosting. How'd you let me get away with that?
I can't listen because I'm mesmerized by whatever that pin is on your shirt pocket.
Oh, this pin.
What is that?
Can you not see it?
My eyes are not great.
Oh, you are wearing some Coke bottle glasses. Should I get close to the camera so y'all can see this?
I still can't tell what it says. So Splash Mountain. Does it say I survived Splash Mountain?
No, just a little piece of memorabilia from one of my favorite rides of all time. You know that this ride's going away soon, Lewis. It just closed down in Orlando, and they still have it open in Disney World. But yeah, it's one of my. I think it might be one of the first rides I went on when I was a kid. When my dad used to do work with Disneyland, and so I used to live in California, and so we would go there pretty often. And I remember when this ride opened at Disneyland and we went on it, and it was like one of the most incredible experiences that I had in my entire life. And then of course you get the picture going down, right, where you're screaming at the top of your lungs.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I got to deal with my kids before they shut it down when we went to Disney World in September. So just a little piece of memorabilia. I have all these like really cool pins, and I'm like, should I just go full grandma mode and start wearing these on my jacket and attach them to my purse?
Yeah, man. Just festoon away.
I like that. I'm going to do that, Lewis. And this is a collector's item now because they stopped selling all Splash Mountain merchandise in preparation for it closing. All right, Lewis. Let's get into the Apple news here. Let's see here. First story of the day. Should we talk about these new betas? iOS 16.4, Beta 1 and Beta 2. So Beta 2 just came out, and we'll kind of mix and match and tell you what all is new in the betas. But one of the things that cracked me up is, do I have this here? Yeah. So one of the big features was in Beta 2, they re-added page turning animations to Apple Books on the iPhone.
I'm sorry. It sounded like you said one of the big features.
Well, now Lewis is poo-pooing this feature, but when I went to the Apple subreddit, this had 2.7 thousand upvotes. This is like one of the biggest stories I've ever seen on the subreddit.
Wow.
That's how excited people are about this, because I wouldn't have thought twice about this at all. But and let's see if I can give you a little example. So there you go. So now when you turn the page on the iPhone, do they take this away from iPad too? I think that it was still available on iPad, but they removed it from iPhone. I could be wrong about that. It might have been gone from both iPhone and iPad. But it's back. It's back, baby. So now when you turn the page, it's going to look like you're actually turning a page. Hey, some people like that skeuomorphism. Lewis?
Yeah, turn the page. Sounds like a Bob Seger song, right?
I don't know. I'm not sure I've ever.
Yeah, it's called Turn the Page.
Is that-
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even know who that is.
I never use the Books app, so I don't know that I've ever even seen this.
I have. I've seen this feature. I think it's a nice touch when you're reading a digital book to have it act like a real page. It did add a little bit of life to the app, I have to admit. And
Gives it some personality, right?
exactly. And it made it less sterile. When you're reading on an iPad, it just feels like a very impersonal, sterile experience. It's not nearly as it's not nearly as I don't even know how to describe it. Tactile. I was just gonna say tangible. I mean, there's just something about having a book in your person. It's not nearly as romantic as having a book in your hands, and I think having these little touches in here makes it. Well, it's a nice touch. Yeah, we got Christian in the chat saying that it's not. Oh, he's saying it's not. Oh, it's not a nice touch. It is a must-have. Oh, okay.
Oh,
This is coming from an iOS developer. Okay, I'm gonna have to have you expound upon that. Why is it a must-have? Because it just seems like one of those little nice things to have.
the thing that's weird is like, why would they just take it away? I mean,
Yeah,
why not just leave it and let people turn it off if they want?
because Tim Cook giveth, and Tim Cook taketh away. That's the answer.
Leander, I was talking with Leander about it yesterday. He was saying it's just like this, anti-skeuomorphism purge.
An anti-skeuomorphism purge. You mean so they're bringing
getting rid of it was part of that.
Okay. Oh, I gotcha. And so now they're bringing back strategically like the little things that people really liked.
I guess. I mean, I haven't heard any reasoning about why they brought it back, but apparently people care.
I mean, there were some elements of skeuomorphism, which basically just means having your apps work like things in real life that you know how to interact with. Like when they made the gaming app, I can't remember the name of it. What's it called?
Game Center?
God, it's not even on my phone anymore. They weaved it into another app. Yeah, it was Game Center. When they made it look like a poker table, didn't they? Like when you opened the app. Do you remember that?
I can't remember.
Yeah, all right. Well, we're veering off into bad memory zone. But there are some elements of skeuomorphism that I do kind of like. And I think this is definitely one of them. Okay, we got Christian Backy saying, if something feels second nature to a user, do not remove it. It's like if they got rid of pinch to zoom. Yeah, that is a good point. Dipsy Doo saying, is Buster still around? The last I heard, his skeleton was found in the desert with a beard still attached to it.
Oh, jeez.
Surrounded by peyote wrappers. That's how they knew it was him. I actually haven't spoken to Buster in a while. I should check to see if he's okay. But I hear the new box he's living in is really upscale.
Jeez.
It's got AC.
He's gonna sue us into oblivion.
And by AC, I mean he cut a window into it, and so there's a breeze going through. So it's air conditioned in that way. Let's see. What else do we have in here that's worth mentioning? Apple Pay is coming to South Korea. Page turn animation. Yeah, we mentioned that. Splash screen for podcast app.
Whoa,
Yeah,
baby.
there you go. A new splash screen in the Apple Podcast app highlights all the changes. This includes channels and library, an improved up next experience, and an enhanced CarPlay support. Work on Apple Music Classical continues. Let's see here. Apple's continuing its work on the Apple Music Classical app. In Beta 2, it suggests the app could launch in the near future. Okay. Let's see. We got some new emoji. Why did we lead with the story? I'm immediately regretting this. We got some new emoji. We got a Wi-Fi symbol, a squid, a goose.
You know, it's funny. Yesterday I was
donkey,
looking for
ginger.
a moose emoji.
Yeah, me too.
And I thought it existed, but it doesn't exist yet. It hasn't come.
Here it is.
It's in this next version. So, we got that to look forward to.
What would you call this little emoji where the guy's face is like shaking and he's surprised and there's like little squiggly lines on both sides?
Yeah. It's
like you just
it's literally the look that the look of the sound that you make. There you go.
This looks like he just had an experience with Will Smith. Let's see. We got a flute. Oh, it's like a wooden flute too. We got some. Let's see here. Oh yeah,
I think that's a recorder.
You think that's a recorder? I played a recorder in school. I'm not sure that's a recorder.
I don't know.
Maybe. It looks like some kind of like
maracas.
We got some maracas there. We got a fro pick here. That's cool. Anything else in here worth mentioning? No, not really. Oh, There is one other big one, maybe two other big ones. Safari push notifications. This is huge. So now, for all the apps that, or for the web apps that you may use because they don't have real apps or Apple has banned them for whatever reason, they should be able to send push notifications to your phone via Safari as long as you have a shortcut to the app on your homepage. So that's actually a big one. New HomeKit architecture. Let's see. iOS 16.4. This was from the beta 1. Updated the HomeKit architecture that Apple was forced to pull following complaints in iOS 16.2. There's all these issues. You will see a home upgrade available notification in the Home App Software update section. Apple says the new architecture will improve the performance and reliability of the accessories in your home. I don't really see anything else here that's that exciting. Always on display focus filter.
Tilt and azimuth support added to Apple Pencil.
I don't even know what that means. Yeah, me either. I'm sure that means something to somebody. So you can toggle or you can adjust the always on display, which I hear there are reports that it's draining battery life on iOS 14. So now you can adjust how or when your always on display is on, or can you turn that off entirely? Let's see here. iOS 16.4 beta 1 contains code to display the always on display battery consumption. Oh, okay. Oh, so it shows you how much energy it's using. I gotcha. That would help you decide whether or not you should turn off the feature and how much battery power you're going to save. Oh yeah, that is super useful. So there is some useful stuff in here. Of course, that's from beta 1. and we're just talking about a big mismatch of beta 1 and beta 2 features. So there you go. So a lot of smaller stuff in here, but some nice quality of life improvements. Anything that you think I missed, Lewis, before we move on? I think that pretty much covers it.
I don't think there were any other things in the big ones or anything like that. I mean, order tracking widget. Gee, shortcuts improvements. Okay.
Dang, Deadliest is saying, I was going to say I've had the always on display feature off since I got my 14 Pro. Is that because of battery life? Is the battery life affected so much that you decided to turn it off? The Apple Home app is a joke, Norbert says. It never works reliably. My Amazon, who controls smart devices way better. Well, that much is true.
Yeah,
man. The HomeKit
baffling.
has been really unreliable for me too. I think thread support is actually really going to help. I think the problem is that your device that is controlled by HomeKit, especially if you have some kind of automation in place, it needs to be close to something that can control it. So an Apple TV, a HomePod. I'm trying to think what else could be used. And with the thread support in new products and in the new HomePods, they can extend the range of communication, is my understanding. So if your HomePod is connected to a smart lock, and a smart lock is close to another accessory that you want to control, the HomeKit or the HomePod can essentially control that new device via thread through the other accessory. So it basically allows you to reach accessories that are far away from devices that can control them, which to me I think is usually the biggest problem, is you're just too far away from the HomePod or the iPad or what have you.
Constant problem. Constant.
Yeah.
And the thing that drives me batty is when I've got my phone, I open up the Home app, and I do something. It instantly happens. I ask who to do something. It might happen instantly, or it might take 30 seconds.
Oh yeah,
and I don't
true with smart
understand
locks too.
what the difference is. I'm standing in the exact same place. It's the exact same device. I've made the exact same request. One time it's instant. The next time, almost never happens. In fact, many times it takes so long that I go in and open it, and then it's opening, and it says, and then I get sorry, your device is not responding.
Oh, are you talking about smart locks?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, same here.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, smart locks. I don't know why. It's just one of those things that's really slow. It's like when you are using your iPhone and you pull down to search and you start typing something. It's it takes forever for it to bring up results for your search results. It's just one of those weird mysteries that is just very slow. Yeah, that happens to me all the time. I almost never control my smart locks from Siri because it just takes too dang long. All right, so there you go. Some cool new features coming to iOS 16.4. Hopefully HomeKit hopefully HomeKit stuff will be more reliable, but I don't know, man. It's been so long. And Amazon and Google, their stuff just seems to work so much more reliably and so much more quickly. I don't know if Apple's ever going to pull ahead, but I hope so. All right, Lewis, let's talk about this hack that you had mentioned, because this was a big story this week, wasn't it?
Yeah. So this comes about from I don't know if you read this story. It's in the Wall Street Journal by Joanna Stern. Big thing, the headline on that story was a basic iPhone feature helps criminals steal your entire digital life, which that's a nice fear-mongering headline. But the deal is so instead of just stealing your iPhone, what people have been doing, these criminals, they've been watching, or even in some cases, videoing people as they're
they could do that super easy. They could just
and then zoom in.
Yeah, zoom way in.
Video. So they were talking about you're out at a bar, a club, or some public place, right? You're for whatever reason you tap in your passcode into your phone, and and people are figuring out that, oh well, I could steal your phone, but if I steal your phone and I have your passcode, it's like a treasure trove, right? And so what they do, they take it and then they lock you out of everything, and then they start draining your your bank account, opening lines of credit, buying stuff at wherever, and so anyway, terrible. It's terrible that happens. And if anybody, I mean, this has never happened to me, thank God, but if you've ever talked to anybody who's had any kind of problem where they get hacked like that or something, you could spend days or weeks trying to sort everything out, right? You got to contact every credit card
This
company.
could ruin your life, honestly.
Oh, it's like basically a nightmare. So anyway, she was in this story. She was talking to people who had savvy people who that happened to them, and they as fast as they could went and tried to lock their device down, but the thieves had already locked them out. And sob story, just terrible what happened to these people. Anyway, the good news is there's a one simple thing you can do to keep that from happening, and it's a weird kind of security hack. And it seems like it wasn't built for this, or it wasn't designed to do this, but it can help you not get locked out of your device. See, to do it, all you got to do is go into settings on your iPhone and go into screen time, this is originally a feature designed to keep your kid from taking your phone and ordering $1,000 worth of donuts or something. You go into screen time, content and privacy restrictions, and toggle it on. Okay.
I'm doing it as you speak.
And then you go down to account changes and you click don't allow. And then you set up on the next page something you tap use screen time passcode. So what you're doing is you're just setting a secondary passcode on your iPhone that keeps all these massive things from keeps you from getting locked out, so that this massive kind of crime can happen to you. So we were just recommending to everybody. Somebody, I can't remember, somebody tweeted about this, right? This is how we tumbled to this. We had never heard of this. And it's weird because it's not it's not the intended use, I suppose, but it protects you from this sort of, oh my God, they took my life away from me kind of thing. Very simple to do. We recommend everybody just take a minute and do it. Set a passcode that it doesn't really. Our how-to writer Griffin, who wrote this up, he's saying it doesn't really matter what that passcode is. You don't have to be super crazy about that. You just set up a quick thing and do it. He also had some other tips for how to keep this from happening to you. And one is just use Face ID. Don't ever use your passcode in public. And if you do have to, like he said, if you have to use your passcode, go in the bathroom, go into a stall by yourself and do it in there.
Just bring it really close to your chest and just have it be right under your chin, and then be looking around all suspiciously. How about that?
Right. The main takeaway is be paranoid. Don't don't just willy-nilly type your passcode in because somebody could be watching, and it might not be like right beside you in the bar. It could be across the bar. It could be across the restaurant. It could be on public transit. So that's
And that's
one
how
thing.
they get you, man. They prey on people who are who think that just nothing's ever going to happen. It's like, I don't know, like if you ever worked for like a tech company, they always have trainings about how to deal with people who are entering and leaving the building, and they're always like, if you see someone come in or if you see someone trailing you and you're going into the door, do not just open the door for them or hold the door for them and let them into the building. Because that's
so
how
awkward.
Right, because it is weird.
I hate that.
And that's how scammers get you. Like they'll kind of prey on your hospitality.
Right.
And or if someone walks in and they don't have their badge out, like don't let them in. You need to ask them. You need to confront them and ask them where their badge is. Like things that people don't want to do.
I don't want to do that.
Right. No one wants to do it, but that's the kind of stuff that you have to kind of be aware of when it comes to like the security stuff, because that's always how they get you. It's like they're going to be like, oh, that would never happen. Everything's fine. No one's going to try and steal your passcode. But if they did, it is kind of crazy that they can go into your passwords and in the settings app and basically have access to literally everything that you access. And that's your whole life. Your whole digital life is in there. So that's a pretty powerful hack.
This is the whole reason that Apple's always so hiding behind this to say, hey, we can't open up the App Store, we can't do this because and the reason people always say, well, why is that well, it's because your iPhone is at this point like loaded with personal information, health information, probably everybody has credit cards and all kinds of stuff. And another thing people were doing is they were going into people's photos and finding things like personal data. And I don't mean like embarrassing photos. I mean like they were using that to find passwords. Like you go in and you type in PIN, and it shows up like every photo you have that has your PIN list or whatever. But I don't know. I don't remember if that's exactly what it was. But the search functions within the Photos app make it easy to find. I think they said Social Security number was the thing that people were searching for. And so, boom, you took a photo of your Social Security card so you'd have your ID on there, right? And now all they got to do is type in Social Security number, and boom, they've got your
And they also know your address, and they also know your email address and your banking password and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so you can see how it'd be a problem if somebody had access to your iPhone, and that's why you want to keep it locked down as best possible.
And so, like, the whole premise of this change is like so that they can't go and change your iCloud password, right? So if you go to set your phone, lock your phone and put it in lost mode, when people were doing that, they couldn't because their password had already changed.
Yes,
so
they went in and
there was no action they could take any longer because the crooks acted so fast. So this prevents them. This buys you time, because if they can't change that, then as soon as you realize your phone is gone, you can set it to lost mode, and boom, they're kicked out of the phone.
Right. So they still have your phone, which is a drag, but they don't have the keys to every single aspect of information about you. So.
I just did this, man. This seems like such a simple fix. I mean, so I just turned it on, and so now I've prohibited account changes in the Screen Time app, which this is kind of weird that that's where it lives. I didn't even know this is a possibility. And and now if you go to make account changes, or you go to change that setting off, turn that setting off, it asks you for for your PIN number, and I set a different PIN number. Obviously.
What passcode did you use?
1, 2, 3, 4. The same passcode I use on my luggage. All right, that's a very good tip, Lewis.
I thought it was awesome. It's really unsurprised, or a big surprise that it's in there buried in Screen Time settings, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that is.
Who would have guessed?
I never knew that you could lock that stuff out in the Screen Time app. Okay, we're running low on time, Lewis. I think we should skip the Exploratory Design.
Wow.
Group. Yeah.
You're just bailing already, huh?
Well, we got all these other stories left.
Overboard.
We're going to just be around out of time. So maybe I could just mention it, or maybe we could just mention it really fast and not actually get into a big, long discussion on this. But before we do, Lewis, before we do anything, I want to make sure that I give a very hearty thank you to a new sponsor for supporting this episode. Do I have this up? Oh, yeah, I do. Thank you to our sponsor, Collide, for supporting this episode. Collide has some big news. Lewis, big news. Are you ready? Get those
let
ears
me
perked up.
let me just
Okay.
brace myself here.
If you're an Okta user, you can now get your entire fleet to 100% compliance. I know that Lewis is a big compliance guy, but mainly with Cultimac riders. Hence the barking and the biting of the ankles. If a device isn't compliant, the user rather can't log into your cloud apps until they fix the problem. It's that simple. Collide patches. Whoops. Let me move this over here. There we go. Collide patches one of the major holes in zero trust architecture, device compliance. Without Collide, IT struggles to solve basic problems like keeping everyone's OS and browser up to date. Unsecured devices are logging into your company's apps because there's nothing there to stop them. We were just talking about security. How good of a segue is this? Collide is the only device trust solution that enforces compliance as part of authentication, and it's built to work seamlessly with Okta. The moment Collide's agent detects a problem, it alerts the user and gives them instructions to fix it. If they don't fix the problem within a set time, boom, they're blocked. Collide's method means fewer support tickets, less frustration, and most importantly, 100% fleet compliance. Visit collide.com/cultcast to learn more or book a demo. That's collide.com/cultcast, KOLIDE.com/cultcast, CULTCAST. Do I need to spell cultcast? I don't think so. For more information, thanks to Collide for supporting this episode. All right, Lewis, let's see here. Should we talk a little bit about the Exploratory Design Group? I don't want to go on too long about this because we need to get to the HomePod story, which I feel like is going to be a longer discussion.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so this is a report. This comes up. You won't believe this. It comes from Mark Gurman's Power On newsletter.
No, you don't say.
It's crazy.
Finally, Mark Gurman putting out some news.
Yeah.
Good for him.
This is an interesting little look behind the scenes at Apple. There's this secretive group called the Exploratory Design Group.
Super secretive.
Oh, super secretive, yeah. So this is the group that's been working on this blood glucose monitoring thing that we were talking about a while ago. More details of this, sort of moonshot group they call it, have come out. These, they're not the ones working on the AR/VR headset or the Apple Car necessarily. They work on bringing products to market. Rather than working on bringing products to market, they are, quote, instructed to work on projects until they can determine whether or not an idea is feasible. Interesting. Hundreds of people working in this group supposedly, and so that's smaller than the groups working on Apple Car VR headset.
A lot smaller, yeah.
And it kind of functions like a well-funded startup within Apple. Reports to, I can never pronounce this guy's name, Johnny Shroji.
It's close enough.
Senior Vice President of Hardware Technologies, and works out of Tantal 9, a building just down the street from the Apple Park. Tantal 9, I've been in there.
So I'm looking at this picture from the story, and it looks like our own Griffin Jones, what was he, hiding in a tree? Took this photo with a spyglass?
Anyone can walk down there and see that.
Is he in San Francisco?
No, he took that when he was out here for WWDC last summer.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, how did he get this photo? It's so interesting having like a real life photo of like the secret laboratory.
It's just down the street from the visitor center there at the Apple Park. Let's see. Supposedly this group has already done things like cutting edge work on chip and battery technologies that are currently in our iPhones and Macs. So that's the kind of stuff they're doing. They're blue sky, kind of like, how can we make
this
things
sounds like
better?
One of the best jobs at Apple, to be honest. Like, all you do is so they basically have unlimited funding, and their job is to just follow the rabbit hole, see if you can make something better, take a really big idea and see if it's actually feasible, and just experiment. Essentially, it's like an elite team of R&D researchers. Essentially,
total brainiacs.
That seems pretty cool, man. That'd be a fun job to have, and it's pretty low stress because you're just dealing with R&D. It's like, I don't even know if this is gonna work. I'm gonna work on this.
As opposed to like, oh my God, you got to have a deliverable here in 3 months, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would not like to be on that. For instance, the team working on the VR headset. How'd you like to be heading that team? You go,
Any launch
Tim,
product.
we're gonna have to delay this another few months because we can't quite make hardware work with the software. I would not want to have that conversation.
Or any of like what they call them like live ops teams. So anyone who's working on like working on launching or maintaining a live service. Those are the guys with the pagers, man. Like something goes wrong, something goes out, your email stops working, you can't play Xbox Live or something. People are getting paged. Engineers are working through the night to get that stuff back up and online. All the live op stuff, that's super stressful business. And then also like software development too, because they're always on like these sprints. Every sprint is like, we got to get all this stuff done, constantly planning, constantly managing, constantly looking for contingencies in case things go sideways. I mean, it's just like high stress, dude. Like the research side, it's like, I'm going to go in today. I'm going to see if I can make these pixels 3% bigger. And if not, well, it doesn't matter because I tried. That's all that matters. I tried. It doesn't work, you know? What can I say? It doesn't work. I tried. Pretty cool job if you ask me.
Well, yeah, the one thing I didn't do is supposedly this company is known as XDG within the company. So if you hear XDG, that's the Exploratory Design Group.
Yeah, very
super secret.
Very top secret. Not anymore though. Not after debuting on this program. Now the whole world knows. There's no one that doesn't know about it now. So tough luck, TC. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about HomePods. First, a little bit of bad news. A little bit of bad news, Lewis. I've been doing like these HomePod comparisons, and I was really excited to compare the new HomePods to the old HomePods. And my initial venture was to learn if the sound quality was different, better, worse, the same as the original HomePods. And I released this video that you can go on my channel and check out, and we'll talk a little bit about the conclusions here in a second. But after I released this video, after I made the comparison, I came into the Cult Command Center, and I saw something I really just didn't want to see.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to show it to you now. Let me see if I can bring this up. See that, Lewis? See that?
The blinking?
That is my original HomePod, my big, beautiful original HomePod. See what's happening at the top there?
Yeah, blink on, blink off.
The power buttons, the plus and the minus sign are blinking on and off.
What does that mean?
On and off. It means the speaker's bricked, Lewis.
What?
I don't know how it happened. And apparently there's no way to fix it because Apple didn't put a port on this dang thing that you can use to fix it. And from what I've gathered,
oh no,
one of the ways this happens is with a failed software update. So you're doing so the software update just fails, and then they just can't do anything about it because there's no way to plug it in. And so you can't communicate with Wi-Fi anymore. So I think this thing is dead, man. I think one of my legendary original HomePods, I think it died, which is really, really sad because what I concluded from my tests, which was something that surprised me, I wasn't expecting to arrive at this conclusion, is that the new HomePods don't sound as good as the old ones. And it's noticeable. It's very noticeable. The more I've thought about this, in my video, I think I said the old HomePods maybe sound 5 to 10% better than the new ones. I would say it's higher. I would say maybe 10 to 15%, maybe even 20% better. The new ones have 2 fewer tweeters. They also have 2 fewer microphones. And when I was going through my different sound tests, I can notice a difference. Mm-hmm. Like the original HomePods just had like this magical, ethereal, open, beautiful sound quality to them. And the new HomePods, they also sound very good, but they don't have that same magical quality. And I don't know if it's because I just need to break them in. So I caveat in my video, my opinion may change in the future, right? I reserve the right to change my opinion because maybe I just need to break them in. And people are now suggesting that I do a blind audio test, which I think I might do. Just one HomePod.
By the way, you could just put a mask on. You don't have to actually jab your eyes out.
Well, if only you had told me that. I put the iodine in my eyes and now I'm blind. I was trying to figure out how I'm going to do this so I could do a blind listening test. I still think I'll be able to tell because it was very noticeable during my test. Like the older HomePods just sound more beautiful and the new ones don't have that same sound signature. Although a lot of people said you need to break them in, and that may be true. You do need to break in HomePods just like any other speaker.
I would
But
think if anything, that would warm the sound up rather than making it extra magical. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah, and maybe that's what needs to happen.
but I mean, it sounds like what you're saying is that they don't have that like sharp, glistening, glass-like, make your hair kind of tingle sort of magic, right?
Yeah, they don't have it. They just sound like more stereo or more typical speakers that
Yeah,
you could
I
just
mean,
buy from anywhere.
honestly, I watched your video,
Hmm.
and to me, the bass sounded less defined. It sounded like flabbier, like
On the
more
new
like that.
HomePods, right?
Yeah,
That's
it
exactly
doesn't.
how I felt. Like
It,
it was stronger, but it was less controlled.
yeah, it sounds like I don't know, just like lazy bass, right? It's
Lazy
not.
bass.
It's
There you go. That's it. Friggin' lazy bass, man. And it's not just the bass that has that problem. The mids have that problem. The highs have
mm,
that problem. It just feels like it's the entire speaker is just tuned differently, or maybe it's because they have fewer tweeters. They can't pull off the same level of magic. I don't know, but I would almost call the new HomePods the HomePod SE.
oh, geez, this is just getting worse and worse.
You know, like it sounds good, but it doesn't sound as good. And I'm hoping that changes. But the animation on the top is beautiful. It's exactly what I was hoping for. And that kind of aesthetic improvement, I think, makes a big difference. It's like now the entire thing, you can see from this picture, in the original HomePod, it had basically like a quarter size light at the top that would illuminate. On the new HomePod, the entire thing illuminates, and it has like this cool, like colorful animation. It makes it feel more alive. You also get thread support. You also get Matter support, but they reduced they put in an older standard of Wi-Fi into the HomePod, which I just find to be weird, and it makes me again it just affirms the notion that this is a cost cutting effort. Like they really reduced their cost for these HomePods. So it's a bummer, man. I don't know what to do about it because now people want me to do extra stereo pair reviews,
And you can't.
and I can't. And I'm like, do I go and buy another old HomePod?
Oh, geez.
I
Have you
don't
tried
really.
resetting it?
It
Have you
won't let
tried everything?
it won't let me reset it. The reset fails. It won't do anything but blink. And if I try to unplug it and plug it back in again and do a hard reset, it just won't do it. So it's bricked, man.
Oh.
Now I have heard some people have had success unplugging the HomePod when it has this issue and leaving it unplugged for a while. For some reason, that seems to fix it for some people.
Leave it outside under the bridge for 3 days,
Grab it
3
by
nights.
the power cord and just swing it around in the air like a helicopter. I haven't tried doing a long-term unplug yet. Like I've left it unplugged for like a day and a half, and then I plugged it back in, and as you can see, it's still blinking. It's still bricked. And the weird part is I don't think this is the one that was having that
Mm-hmm.
issue. Like the one that's still working, I think, is the one that is having that weird sputtering issue, which some people said led to the speaker dying. But the other thing that really annoys me about this is this was not a cheap product. I spent $350 on this thing, and it only lasted 5 years, and now it's dead. So Apple created a bad product. I mean, have you ever heard of a speaker dying? I mean, especially after 5 years, that is kind of bizarre, isn't it? I mean, what about this thing would cause it to fail?
Yeah, well,
There's
I
no
don't
moving.
know. I mean, it's a complicated thing, right? I
Yeah.
mean, there's software in there. And so, I mean, this happens with all kinds of things, right? If a software or a firmware update goes sideways, tough luck, Charlie.
That's my best guess at this moment is the the update just bricked it,
What
and
happens when you look in the Home app?
it won't show up anymore.
It's
It's
just the
gone.
one sits there.
Now I just have one. Yeah.
It just disappeared.
It just no, that's not true because I unpaired it, or I separated them from stereo pair in the Home app in an attempt to try to fix it. So maybe
Ah,
that's why. But then after I did that, it never showed up again. So now it's just gone,
that's just sickening.
and it just won't respond to any touches or anything. The other thing that I wanted to mention is like on the new HomePod, the plus and minus capacitive touch buttons are like etched in on the bottom of the HomePod, and they illuminate when you touch the top of the HomePod. And on the new one, it looks like it's just screen printed on there. It's like the buttons are always just there. So you can just tell like they just kind of did some stuff to make it not as elegant and probably reduce the cost to manufacture it. I'm happy that we have HomePods at all. I just find it incredibly ironic that I do this video right when the new HomePods come out. After all this time, I finally get the new ones, and then it's like almost like in sadness, the new one died. It was like, oh, you've replaced me. And I was like, no, no one can replace you. But now it's just like, I'm done.
Maybe the new ones have a secret kill mode that activates so that you can't compare the new ones with the old ones.
That was secretly programmed by TC.
Anyway, that's from the XDG folks.
They were working on that for a year and a half.
Kill shot.
300 people. So now I don't know what to do. People want me to continue reviewing the new HomePods. I will. I need to connect them. I think I am going to do the blind hearing test, the taste test next, and see if I notice a difference one-on-one.
And you should compare them, not stereo paired too, right? I mean,
I'm going to do that next. Well, I can't do that anymore.
That's probably the way most people use them. I mean,
yeah, that might be true. I almost think it's not worth buying the HomePods if you're not going to buy two, because there's such synergy when you have two of them together. And if you're gonna buy them, I probably wouldn't buy them just one for music. Like, it doesn't really. I don't feel like it's going to fill your room as much as with two. And if you get two, well, then you could also have them be your speakers for your TV and have like the Dolby Atmos and everything. I mean, it makes a huge difference. I think it's worth it to buy two. But
so one of the things that I was when they first came out and people were doing these in just annoying unboxing videos. Oh, they look much louder. So is the new one louder than the old one?
I feel like they're louder. Yeah. Although I can't say definitively that that is true, but they do seem as though they're louder. And they also have much more bass, it seems like. But to your point, it's lazy bass, man. It's just not controlled. It just feels like it's all over the place. What is this? I'm just reading this line for the first time from the story. CultCast host Eric and Elijah is a full-size HomePod, and then they crossed out the word snob and wrote connoisseur. Is this Griffin? How dare this guy? This guy's getting too cocky, Lewis. Get in there and go full Chihuahua mode on his ankles. This cannot stand. The other thing I like about these new HomePods is that I got the midnight color, because the white ones, man, I was picking them up and handling them. Looks like someone wiped their nose with these dang things. Like, they're just stained all over. If you don't have kids, they'll probably hold up better. I like the white color better, to be honest. I think they just look more elegant, but they do get dirty if there's anyone in your house handling them. And every time I look over, my kids are like touching them and wiping their hands on them and stuff. So I would definitely go black if you have kids. But so I'm happy with the new HomePods. I'm happy I have the option to have HomePods. I'm going to continue doing sound tests. I'm going to continue breaking them in. If you wanna hear those videos, see those videos, youtube.com/AirFunElijah. I'll leave a link in the show notes if you don't know how to spell my name, which I'm gonna guess is most of you. But so I'm happy and I'm disappointed. It's just I was really, people said that the new HomePod sounded better, and I didn't really believe that, and I don't think that's actually true. And it makes sense why that wouldn't be true. There's two fewer tweeters. How can you get the same level of audio performance with fewer audio components inside of a speaker? I'm not an audio engineer, but that never really made sense to me.
Yeah, I gotta say, when I heard it, I was skeptical as well. So
all right,
I still haven't even heard one. I haven't heard of the new ones yet. So
well, you should get yourself a pair, a big beautiful pair, Lewis.
Jeez.
Big beautiful pair for your living room.
I don't need more, series wondering, answering questions I don't want them to answer badly.
Yeah,
that's the worst thing about it. It's like, I mean, it would be more tempting to put these things in every room in the house, which could be awesome, but it's just so annoying when it takes over your request for information.
Yeah, that is annoying. Like, Siri never knows which device it should be answering from. And you'll be talking to your phone, and then all of a sudden your HomePod across the whole room lights up. It's like, dude. And there's a lot that the HomePod Siri can't do. It always wants to like go to your phone and do everything. Unfortunately, unlike the ECHO, which can answer literally any question with and it understands everyone's voice, and it answers with nuance. It's almost like the Chat GPT of smart speakers. It's crazy good. Okay, Lewis, let's do the giveaway real fast, shall we, before we wrap up here with one final story?
All right, we got a nice one. Can you show that to the folks?
Oh, yeah, I got it up here right now.
You-
It is a beauty.
If you go to the homepage, you look for the deceptive headline. Enter to win a high-end backpack from Harber London. It's not deceptive at all. It's 100% accurate. This is a great-looking backpack. I mean, actually, this backpack looks so nice. I wouldn't even be able to wear it because people are just like, what's this bum doing with this,
They'd be
this
like,
good-looking backpack?
Quit trying to hello fellow kids me.
So this thing's so good we're only giving one away. Okay, this is a commuter backpack from Harber London. It's a spacious 17-liter backpack. Retails for $234. Available in olive, black, and mocha. It looks like a really cool thing. It's spacious, but it's one of those like low profile ones too, right? So it's not like I mean, it looks the way the good backpacks look, right?
Yeah, very svelte and minimalist.
Put it that way. They're handmade in Spain. They're made out of the fabric part of them is 100% recycled plastic bottles, which is supposedly really soft. I haven't actually had my hands on one of these because, like I said, I'm a schlub. But it's also got leather part of it, full grain leather components. You can see the picture there. It's got compartments for a laptop, tablet. I don't quite understand this. Integrated false bottom adds extra protection for your cherished electronics. I guess it's got like a hidey hole. You could put like your AirPods in the bottom if you want to leave
like
it somewhere.
cords or something. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Oh. I gotta say, false bottom. I was a little thrown by that, but anyway, this is my favorite feature. It's got a key latch. Just kidding. That's not a big deal. I think the thing looks good though, and oddly enough, Harber London. Where do you think they're based?
I'm gonna guess in Spain.
Oh, what are you? Some kind of genius?
Because you said that they were made in Spain, so I'm guessing they.
Oh, I already said that.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were listening for once.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I tune in.
I was talking with Adele, who manages our giveaways, talking about Harber London. I'm like, well, I'm not really all that familiar with this brand. Where are they based? She's like, yeah, it's really odd. They're based in Spain. Anyway,
yeah,
cool company. This is the first time we've given away one of their products. This looks like a great one. You want to enter, just go to the homepage, cultamac.com, scroll down to the giveaway section, click in there. You can enter multiple ways. One of them this week is you can enter by subscribing to a little podcast called the CultCast. Maybe you've heard of it.
Oh.
I definitely recommend that, but there's also other ways, visiting Facebook pages, Twitter, blah, 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 blah. I don't even know what all the different
That's like
options
winning
are.
twice, because now you're subscribed to the CultCast.
Yeah.
You're a winner. Just in that sense.
Everyone wins.
And you could also get this backpack because of it. That is a double win right there. All right, cool. Well, I'll leave a link to this in the show notes. I'll post it in the chat if you all are interested. All I'm saying is, look, for those of you that don't win things very often and so you don't even bother entering, you got a chance. You got a chance to win this. So just give it a shot. If you're interested, it might just be you. Let's wrap up with this last story here, Lewis. Am I the only one excited about this? I don't care if I am, because I am. And I am what I am, Lewis. iMessage is coming to Windows, Lewis. Kind of. And I'm happy about this. People never thought it would happen, Lewis. I certainly never thought it would. People didn't think it was possible, but in an update to Windows 11, you will be able to send and receive messages, iMessages, and manage your notifications through a PC. The update comes through the Windows Insider program, which offers users pre-release versions of the desktop operating system for beta testing. Blah 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 blah. Microsoft ships updates to Windows annually in the fall, so this feature may arrive for everyone later this year. So, what's the catch, right? iMessage on Windows with limits. Clearly, this is not something that Apple is condoning or wants to be a part of. And here's how it works. iMessage on Windows is available through the Phone Link app for Windows. When you pair it with your phone, it doesn't work currently with everyone, by the way, in case you didn't catch that part. This is in beta testing, so eventually this should be available to everyone, but it's only available to some people right now. When you pair the app with your phone, you can only see the messages that you've sent and received with the phone link active and not the entire message history. That makes sense. You won't be able to send pictures, video files, videos, or files. You can
Oh,
only send and receive messages to one person. You can't participate in group chats. The app makes no distinction between regular text messages and iMessages. You know what I'm of the opinion of, Lewis?
no, I
iMessage
don't know.
iMessage is one of the worst apps, one of the worst messaging apps available today.
Really?
Yeah, I really think so. In an effort to keep you in the walled garden, Apple has fallen behind all the other messaging apps that are cross-platform. They don't have nearly as many ways to communicate within the app. Now, I love that you can FaceTime people easily from the app. Like that's cool, and I love that it's really secure. But like in Slack, for instance, or in Telegram, you can apply any emoji to messages as reactions to those messages. And in iMessage or in the Messages app, you have like a limit of 5 things. It's like haha or exclamation points or thumbs up or thumbs down. It's like, dude, that's nearly not enough to encompass the wide range of emotions that are.
You can add any emoji you want. Come on.
Yeah, but you can't do it to
Not
a
as a
specific
reaction.
message, right? And sometimes people will message you 5 different things, and you can't respond to an individual message
Right.
unless you go to reply, right?
I see what you're saying.
It's like, oh, I want pizza tonight, and also my cat died. What is the appropriate emoji for that scenario, Lewis?
Well, you'd want 2 different ones. You'd want a thumbs up and a crying emoji.
Or maybe a thumbs up in both instances if you're a dog person.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Double thumbs up.
So that's my point, and like you can get sticker packs really easily and for free. You can
do
this
that
iMessage
in-
too. I know,
do
I
that.
know, I know. But there's not nearly as many as available because they can be created easily by the community, and they don't have to go through the App Store for like Telegram and like Signal and stuff. I do like the message effects in the Messages app. I have to admit that like those are pretty cool. But the other thing that you can do in Telegram is you can have people subscribe to your Messages channel. So like it can be a one-way, one-to-many communication. So people subscribe to your channel, and it's all encrypted, and you send messages out, and it goes to everyone who is subscribed to you, and they can't message you back, but they can react to your messages. Like that's pretty handy. There's just a lot of innovation happening, particularly with Telegram. I've heard WhatsApp is really great too. To be honest, I don't have much exposure with WhatsApp. And then Signal, of course, being super secure. A lot of people use that as well. So I don't know. It just feels like the Messages app is falling behind, and I hate that that Apple has not released this as a multi-platform app. And the reason they've done it is because they want to keep you in the ecosystem. And there's the stupid green bubbles and blue bubbles. Like that was cool 5 years ago, but like now it's just inconvenient that you like if you send a message to somebody who it doesn't have an iPhone, and now when they reply, like their group message goes to you, but not to the whole group, right? It's like
I thought it replies the whole group like with like a long text string that says, Irfan replied with a ha ha.
I think it does do that too.
Is it you're saying that only goes to one person, the person that it doesn't go to everybody, doesn't get pounded with that nonsense?
I have to admit, I'm not an expert in this topic. I think sometimes in some use cases it does work the way it's supposed to. But like, I have a friend that is part of a group chat, and he was like, "Man, every time I have this person reply, it sends a message to me directly and not to the whole group. Do you know why?" And I'm like, I don't know why, but those are the kinds of things that don't happen when you use the other messaging apps. They just work better.
I gotta say, there are times when it seems a little too like one of those deals where Apple makes it a little too seamless, so you can't actually tell what's going on. Like there's this guy on a darts team. He's changed his phone number, and even when I put in the right phone number to start a thing, it sometimes it'll go to a different one. I had to go in and delete all these other phone numbers, and but it wasn't obvious, right? It wasn't obvious that it had done that it had decided to use, I guess, perhaps the first phone number I had in there for him. And I'm like, so then I have to like send him a separate message. Hey, did you get the other? No, I'm still not getting it. It's like troubleshooting. You have to start a new thread. It's just kind of crazy. But.
Yeah. So something similar happened to my mom. She started sending messages to me, and this random woman just started getting them, and she would FaceTime, and another lady would pick up.
Whoa.
And I was like, okay, you must have the wrong phone number in your contacts. So I went over and I fixed it, and she had an old number, my new number and my old number in her address book for me. So I deleted one of them, and my theory was, oh, I wonder if this woman ended up getting my old phone number when I switched phone numbers, right? So eventually it ended up going to her, and like somehow Apple doesn't know that. So I fixed it, and it stopped happening, and then it started happening again.
Oh, really?
So so like she'll text me, and she'll be like, "How come you're not texting me back?" I'm like, "I didn't see anything from you. It's because this other lady was getting
You're
your text
sending it
messages."
to Wilma.
Yeah. So isn't that weird? It's just weird stuff like that, and I don't know, man. There are things I really love about the Messages app, and then there's this kind of thing. It's like, dude, can I just reply from Windows? Is that so hard to do? I mean, I'm on a Windows machine as part of my work. Sometimes I need to be able to respond to messages from Windows, and I don't want to have to do it from my phone because I don't like typing on my phone because, Siri sucks. The autocorrect is terrible. And if you make a mistake, it takes like 10 minutes to fix it. It's just so much easier to type from a keyboard. I mean, am I wrong?
No, I can't tell you how many times I go to send a message, and just as I'm sending it, it changes. And I just find that completely frustrating.
It happens to me all the time, too. Yeah, it happens to me all the time, too. I feel like it did get a little bit better when they when they updated the new dictation thing. You don't think it got any better?
No, I think it just continues to degrade. I don't understand why.
It's like it's just a constant state of entropy. It's going to get worse and worse and worse until it's speaking like caveman. And you'll say a sentence and it will change it to "Me, Lewis, think me go for lunch."
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, but when you put in a perfectly normal sentence, you let's say you speak out loud 2 sentences. You watch as one goes in, everything's perfect. You watch as the second one goes in, everything's perfect. And then by the time you press send, it changes something. I mean, that's not cool. It is not cool.
Yeah.
There should be some kind of way for it to let you know, oh, by the way, I changed something 16 words back from a completely normal, logical statement to something ridiculous. I don't know how they could do that.
And it gets really basic words wrong. I was sending a message the other day, and I was talking about churning, like you churn, like to the left, to the right. And it kept changing it to CHURN, like I was churning butter. And it did it over and over.
Be sure to churn left on Bob Johnson Street. Yeah. Well, I mean, I have things where I type, somebody says, "What's your street address?" Right? So I put in my street address. It's like blah, 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 street. Like, okay, what would, if you had to guess, what would be the next word after the name of my street? Would it possibly be street? I mean, I've only entered it 500 times, and it's only entered in my own personal information. I mean, for that matter, I've had it. Like, what do you think is coming after Lewis? What word do you think is am I going to say after Lewis that starts with a W and sounds like Wallace? And yet it can't get it. I mean, do you not know my name?
Man, it's crazy. Like,
how is it possible? That right there is. Oh, see, my head's going to explode.
See, what you need is more cores in your neural engine, Lewis. That's the problem. You need the iPhone 16.
Jeez. We figured out how to put your last name after your first name 95% of the time.
Yeah, so let's see here. Jeff from the chat, Google dictation is amazing. Yeah, it is. So is Amazon's. And actually, so is Microsoft's. If you ever use Outlook, it has like this really cool like speech prediction engine built into it now. So you'll start typing and it will be like, "Are you trying to say," and it will put words in there. And it's like, dude, that's exactly what I was going for. I was literally going to say that. And then you'll hit tab and it will just fill all that out. I use that all the time because it's accurate and it saves me time. And those are the kinds of things that Apple just has not been able to figure out. I mean, they can't even get the word churn right. It's like, I'm churning
in
right.
a list of instructions, driving directions, right? Yeah, it's crazy.
Man.
I mean, honestly, it's embarrassing. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say it. If I was in charge of that, I would be looking for a new job in a fast food industry because you're no good at what you do.
Go back to your job at Hot Topic. That's
one of these days. Tim Cook is going to identify you, and it's going to be ugly.
And the last thing you're going to see before you feel 2 immense hands wrap around your throat is a very squinty Tim Cook standing in the shadows, looking very upset with you. And then that's the last thing you're going to see before TC sees you again in hell. All right, Lewis.
Whoa!
He'll be down there, too. You'll get there, and he'll be down there waiting for you. Finish the job. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up there. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. But hey, you know what? The party continues. Lewis and I are both on the new Twitter, duking it out. I'm at Airfon, ERF with Lewis is at Lewis Walls. This has been the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening, and we'll see you guys. Still going with Lewis. Not too loud. Next time. It's time to churn the show off, Lewis. CHURN. And I'm going to go turn my butter. Just take it and spin it to the left and spin it to the right. That's how you make butter, Lewis. Bet you didn't know that. You're probably trying to churn it. No. Can't make butter that way. You got to pick up the whole thing with the milk in it and just spin it around and turn it left and right. It feels like you're dancing. And then you put it down, boom, butter. All right, everyone. That's all the jokes I have in me. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. See you all next time. Have a great weekend.